Hello everyone, I'm going to share with you how to make a Victoria sponge recipe. You can use this to make cupcakes, you can use this to make Victoria sponge cakes, you can make it as big or as small as you like. I'm going to start with roughly 12 cupcake recipe, and it's something you can do at home with your family, but you will need some ingredients. So this is what you will need before you start. The ingredients. The four main ingredients you need to make a sponge cake are 1. Eggs, 2. Self-raising flour. If you can't get self-raising flour, use all-purpose flour or plain flour, but you will must have baking powder. 3. You'll need caster sugar. Again, if you can't get caster sugar, buy normal sugar. It just takes a bit longer to melt in the recipe. And the 4th ingredient is the butter. I always use Le Pack salted butter. The ingredients that make the sponge cake taste extra yummy is vanilla essence, or I use vanilla bean paste, which I have actually brought this from the UK. If you can't or don't have that, use vanilla essence from Carrefour, or you can buy a vanilla pod and take the beans out of that. The second thing that makes the sponge cake fluffy and tastes lovely is some milk. Not much at all, tiny bit. So those are the ingredients that you need. Then the equipment that you need is also quite specific. This is the equipment you will need before you start making cupcakes. You will need to have a weighing measurer that's very accurate. Mine weighs to the grams. I need to know the exact grams of the ingredients. 2, you will need a tin to put your cupcakes in. I use a muffin tin. I've used this for about 10 years. The cupcake cases I buy are from Carrefour. They come in this packet. I found them to be the best. They hold their shape the best. You'll need a mixer to mix all your ingredients together. If you don't have a big stand mixer, this one I've got makes very fluffy recipes. If you don't have that, a hand whisk, you can use that to mix up your recipe. A hand whisk will make a denser sponge, but it will still taste exactly the same. The stand mixer will be a bit fluffier and they'll just rise more. To make the recipe perfect, the trick is to weigh the eggs in their shells. If I weigh 2 eggs, my 2 eggs are 123 grams. This is why I need an accurate weight measurer. When you've measured your eggs, take them out. You are now going to measure the exact same amount of 123 grams of sugar, 123 grams of flour, and 123 grams of butter. The butter needs to be room temperature softened. Grating catar, it should soften quite quickly if you've only just bought it. Right, first thing, put your oven on 180 degrees. Add your butter, softened butter. I've cut it into cubes. It's just helped it to melt a bit faster or soften faster. On we go. You need to let this mix for probably at least 5 minutes, as long as you can leave it. The longer you can leave it, the better it will be. At this stage, you can add the vanilla essence and the milk and the eggs, so all the wet ingredients can go in.
For the vanilla essence, for 2 eggs, I will add about 1/4 teaspoon of bean paste. If I'm using the vanilla essence from Carrefour, I use about 1/2 teaspoon. The milk is probably about 20 mils. It's just to make the mixture wetter, which allows the mixture to rise more. So now you put in your bean paste, your eggs, and your milk.
You now need to let this mix for about another 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Again, the longer you leave it, the better it gets. If everything's getting stuck to the side, stop the stand mixer, pull a spoon around, pull it all out and restart again. That will help to make the mixture better. Let that spin. When you think those ingredients are about as mixed as they can get, this is where you add the flour. Stop the mixer and add the flour very slowly, otherwise you're going to disappear in a cloud of flour in your kitchen. When you add the flour, a lot of the flour might get stuck around the outside of the bowl. Again, you can stop the mixer, scrape all the ingredients around the outside so they get back in the bowl, mix again. Once all the ingredients are really well mixed together, I turn the mixer up quite fast, and here is where you need to be patient. Give it at least 2 more minutes. If you're using a hand whisk, just keep going, keep going, keep going. The more you can get this mixture to look like melted ice cream, the closer you'll be to a delicious recipe. Here's the finished mixture. I think it looks like melted ice cream. This is ready to be put into cupcake cases now. To get the mixture into the cupcake cases, you can do one of 2 things. You can use 2 spoons, one to scoop out and one to put in the cupcake, or you can take a plastic bag like an IKEA Ziploc bag. You can scoop it all in there, snip the corner off and squeeze it out into the cupcake cases. Depends how many cupcakes you're making. The amount of mixture you need in a cupcake case, if you've used a stand mixer and you've used your baking powder, I would recommend don't fill it more than halfway, otherwise the cake's going to rise up and out and maybe over the side. 1 spoon, the other in. Gooey fingers, wash your hands. I bet you're washing your hands all the time. I've washed my hands for 20 seconds. I sang a song while I did it. The cupcake cases will be filled roughly like this. No more than that. Your oven should be up to temperature. Yeah. Place them in. If you have a timer, use it. If you don't have one on the oven, put it on your phone. Use a timer. Put 24 minutes on the oven. This is with 16 minutes left to go, and the cakes are looking like this. Ooh. This is at 12 minutes left to go. The cakes have risen really nicely. If you can't see inside your oven because the bulb's gone or broken, use the torch of your phone, but do not open the door. If you open a door, the cakes sink. Today, with 8 minutes left, I've had a look at the cakes. They've risen, they're browning. I think they could be ready. I'll show you how I check if they're ready. Now, I can only open the door once. Here we go. I tap the top. If it's firm and spongy, they're ready. Absolutely ready. Take them out, put them on the oven top or the surface of your counter. As soon as you can, take them out and pop them on the cooling rack. There we are, 12 cupcakes made, 12 on the cooling rack. When they're cold, you can add any icing you like to them. You could melt a chocolate bar over the top. You could put icing sugar over the top. If you want to make butter icing, it's butter, ice and sugar with the vanilla flavour. If you want to make it taste more like ice cream, add a dash of milk. Enjoy your cooking.